It's been a few weeks now since Star Wars Hunters had its update, and usually I post update reviews pretty shortly after, but I wanted to give myself some extra time this time due to the update having the ranked mode releasing, among many other big additions. So in today's video I'll be going over my thoughts on some of the biggest changes and additions from the last update in Star Wars Hunters. But before I get into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on to never miss a piece of Star Wars Hunters content. So naturally the biggest thing in this update was the ranked mode, and this is something that I, as well as the community, have wanted for a very long time now, and it was confirmed in November last year, so I was honestly expecting it to release at launch, which I'm hoping isn't too far away now either, but we actually got it a few weeks ago, and so far I have been having a lot of fun with it. It doesn't really feel too different from just playing the casual modes, but thankfully with ranked I find myself playing with more online players than bots, which is really nice to see. But so far I have found solo queuing quite challenging, because there's no way to effectively communicate with your team in game, so I've often found that myself or my teammates are pushing the objective at different times, and then we just get absolutely obliterated, especially with trophy chase. With dynamic control it's a little bit different. I've been winning games like that solo queuing quite easily. Squad brawl has been interesting as well, has been a bit of a 50-50 with that, but trophy chase I just keep losing, because as soon as the enemy team get the trophy, all four of them are just there, and it's so difficult to actually get them off of it. So if you are playing ranked, I would definitely recommend going in with a team, but I am also a very big fan of the fact that you can get rewards for every single league and division you rise through, so it's definitely giving me a lot to grind for over the coming weeks. Now the map that was added into the game is the Vandor Rail Yard, and I absolutely love this map so far. It probably is my favourite in the game now as well, but I don't know if that's just because it has that new shiny aspect to it because it's so new. But I think another thing that really puts the cherry on the cake for me with this map is because I just really wasn't expecting it, as I honestly believed that the launch of Star Wars Hunters would only include maps from the 3 original trilogy films, because so far it's pretty much just Tatooine, Endor, Death Star 2, and we did have a map that was half Hoth, but that's now not in the game because the mode of escort that it was on is not in the game either, so I don't really know what they're going to do about that one. And granted, 2 of the Tatooine maps are from Mos Espa, so it's technically episode 1 there or the Book of Boba Fett, depending on how you look at it, but still I genuinely thought it was just going to be Tatooine, Endor, Hoth, and that was it. So to get the second Death Star in September last year, and now Vandor, which is a planet from Solo, that to me is just so awesome, because we've never seen Vandor in a game before either, because Solo obviously came out back in 2018 I think, and around that time we got Kessel in Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's pretty much the only Solo DLC we've seen in a video game before besides character packs and stuff, so being able to play it on Vandor is definitely a really awesome feeling, and I really cannot wait to see where they go next with the maps. I will say though that with the Mos Espa way station, the Death Star 2 Crossfire and the Vandor Rail Yard, those are the last 3 maps that were added into the game, and all of them are just so high caliber in my opinion. The way station map is just full of Easter eggs and really fun things to look around for, and it's just a fun map to play on. And then especially with the Death Star and Vandor, like I said, I really wasn't expecting to see those in the game at all, or for a while at least, and they're also just very good maps that play well on all of the game modes, so I'm really excited for the future of maps in Star Wars Hunters. Now the next thing is dynamic control, which is a brand new game mode in the game, which is basically just Hardpoint from Call of Duty, and I'm a really big fan of this because it means you get to make the most of the entire map and not just one central point, which you do have for the normal control mode. Now control has actually been taken out of this game because of dynamic control by the looks of it. Now whether or not this comes back remains to be seen, as they are fairly similar game modes, and whilst I'd be more than happy to see it return, I'm also not fully against it not returning, as I'd always play dynamic control over the standard control any day of the week, but obviously a lot of people may prefer normal control over dynamic, so for their sakes I really do hope it comes back. Likewise with Hutball and Escort, both of those game modes are gone now as well, which is a real shame. I really do hope they come back at some point, but I totally appreciate that they probably took them out as they are the least played game modes that I've seen, and it also means that dynamic control and trophy chase being permanent modes, it gives them more opportunities to actually be played. But Hutball in particular is something that's pretty unique to Star Wars Hunters, and I'd honestly hate to see so many people miss out on playing it, like I and so many other soft launch players have been able to in the past. Now the final thing I wanted to go over is the UI colour change. Now all of the menus and stuff used to be pink, which is really nice and has been a big part of the branding for this game, but now it's actually light blue. Now I had absolutely no issues with the pink menus whatsoever, but I would say having the blue is a really nice change up after 2 years of having this pink display, and I think blue ultimately shows up nicer as well. Now I would love to see an option to be able to change the colour of the menus between pink and blue, but I totally appreciate that that this is a finer detail that really doesn't need to happen, and there'll be no doubt plenty of other work on this game that needs to happen for the new hunters, modes, maps and everything else, so I'd much rather they focus resources on something like that. But like I said, I really wouldn't mind seeing the pink return as an option. Overall, this has been a huge update for Star Wars Hunters, and I have absolutely not gone anywhere near into the full detail of it in this video, and it's probably the biggest update the game's ever had. Now I say that, but the last two updates that we had for this game were also pretty big, so I think this is really saying something. It's also just been a great update in total, and it's helped to breathe a lot of fresh air into this game for me, and I cannot wait for the next couple of months where we should hopefully get a release window for this game, and possibly another update happening at the end of March. I'd love to hear your thoughts of this update in the comments though. That is it from me today. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.